Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this talk about golden-fronted woodpeckers in southern Texas. So to begin, what is an ecosystem engineer? The formal definition is any organism that creates, significantly modifies, maintains, or destroys habitat. Woodpeckers act as ecosystem engineers by excavating holes in live and dead wood. Since most species of woodpeckers rarely nest in the same cavity a second time, the longer a woodpecker is in an area, the more cavities become available to other birds, known as secondary cavity nesters. Secondary cavity nesters are reliant on finding pre-existing cavities to build the nest in, but not all cavities are created equal. Woodpecker cavities tend to be more structurally sound than naturally occurring cavities. They have smaller entrance holes, depths more acceptable to nesting birds, and are at appropriate heights in the tree. Additionally, woodpeckers increase habitat heterogeneity, which has been previously shown to increase insect abundance. This increase may directly benefit the bird communities within the woodpecker territories, whose protein needs increase during the breeding season. To investigate this relationship, I conducted fieldwork on the golden-fronted woodpecker at the San Antonio Viejo Ranch, part of the East Foundation properties in southern Texas. Using the golden-fronted woodpecker, I wanted to investigate how woodpeckers choose nesting sites, but also how woodpeckers, the insect assemblage, and secondary cavity nesters are connected. My first challenge was locating active woodpecker nests. I used previous bird surveys to interpolate densities across the ranch. As you can see, the northern pasture had a sample bias, so I redid the interpolation on a finer scale, where purple indicates higher densities. With the help of a periscoping wireless camera, I was able to search for and monitor all nests within these high-density areas, sometimes with really great results. Overall, I found 55 active woodpecker nests. To investigate insect and woodpecker relationships, I chose a subset of 24 nests and collected insects using a sweep net in an array outwards from the center of each site and calculated the difference in insect order between occupied and unoccupied sites. To see if home range sizes were correlated with insect loads, I recorded 150 observation points on each male to create minimum convex polygons as a proxy for individual home range size. Overall, I found that woodpecker nesting sites were positively correlated with the presence of Coleoptera, Orthoptera, and Hymenoptera, and that woodpecker home range sizes were negatively correlated with the same three insect orders. This makes sense given most animals will reduce their searching radius when food is more abundant. So now that I knew how woodpeckers were choosing their nesting sites, I wanted to know more details about the cavities themselves. After monitoring all 55 nests throughout the season, I recorded whether the nest was successful, which meant that at least one fledgling left the nest, or failed, and recorded nest metrics that have been shown to impact the success or failure of cavity nesting birds. I created logistic regression models using these parameters and performed model averaging, and found that for woodpeckers, the decay rate and the amount of cavity that was obscured by vegetation were the best predictors of a nest. Now, these results contradict most woodpecker literature, as most species prefer to excavate soft, dead, and decaying wood. However, live trees are better at regulating temperature than highly decayed trees, and given that eggs and chicks in this ecoregion often die from overheating, there might be a trade-off of expending more energy to create a more stable nest environment. While searching for woodpecker nests, I also searched for secondary cavity nesting birds and monitored them throughout the season, recording the same nest parameters as the woodpecker, but also whether or not they were in an abandoned woodpecker cavity or a natural one. And across the board, these birds had higher success in abandoned woodpecker cavities than natural ones. Additionally, flycatchers and titmice were more sensitive to the decay class of a tree in that they required a live tree, while the Buick wrens were not. And now this actually helps my argument because Buick wrens are fairly hardy and flexible with their nests, often building in metal pipes, mailboxes, etc., opposed to the more sensitive flycatchers and titmice. So what exactly does this all mean? Woodpeckers act as ecosystem engineers by creating cavities in areas with higher than normal insect loads. Secondary cavity nesters are then drawn to these areas because of increased local cavity availability and may be more successful due to the stability of these cavities and higher local food resources. Given that cavity nesters around the world are in decline, understanding the predictors to their nest success can help researchers better manage important resources. Specifically, management for woodpeckers in southern Texas should be focused on large live trees rather than dead snags, given the availability of live trees to thermoregulate in arid temperatures. And with that, I'd like to give a big shout out to the East Foundation, who supported and funded this research, along with the many friends along the way who helped me throughout graduate school, and to my committee for giving me helpful advice. With that, I look forward to seeing you all in the question and answer session. Thank you.